You say slow down. I don't like to move too fast. It drowns the truth with things that are not real.
This is part 2 of the Craftsman Emerson Gen 2 Set Drill Press Rebuild series. If you haven't seen part 1, click the link at the top of the screen. In this video, we will be disassembling the floor standing, or as I'm going to refer to it, Drill Press A. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Okay, for Drill Press A, we're going to start from the top and work our way down. This is the belt cover, and it was not attached, so when we reinstall it, we're going to have to fabricate an attachment method. Next, I'm going to remove the motor, and there is a pin that holds the hinge motor plate together, and it's got a little E-clip on the top. There should be a rubber washer between right in there where I'm looking, but there wasn't, so we're going to have to install that when we reassemble. And this is the belt tensioning. This rod is the wrong size, it's too small, so we'll have to fabricate that. With that gone. Next, we're going to remove the motor hinge plate, and it's just got this bolt on one side that we pull out, and then the motor plate will come straight up out of the head. And this is it's listed as the capacitor clamp, but it's a cord clamp. I don't know if the engineers got confused when they wrote up the owner's manual, but it's to retain the power cord and keep it out of the way. It's just got a screw. Next, we'll remove the feed stop collar. This is the quick adjust feed stop collar. And then we can go ahead and loosen all of the screws and nuts that hold the feed stop rod and clamp the feed stop bracket together. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of in the way of you guys seeing that, but as I drop the nut. So there should be a lock washer in the nut as well as a screw, and then here you've just got the jam nut on the bottom of the feed stop rod, and then the rod will come out. Next, we'll remove the quill lock. So we're just going to unscrew it and then pull out the sleeve and then the locking nut. And there is a small set screw that holds the chromed handle to the lock screw. So we just need to remove. That's a cone point set screw as well. There we go. Next, we're just going to pull out on the hub and release the tension while we're holding the chuck to keep the spindle and quill assembly from falling out of the drill press head. And then if we just pull all the way out on the hub there, we should be able to get the quill spindle assembly out of the head casting by just pulling down on it. We'll disassemble that later. Next, I'm just going to disengage the feed return spring. It's looped over a roll pin on the inside. And we just pushed up on it and then slid out the pinion and hub. Next, I'm going to go ahead and install one of the column collar that I've purchased separately. We're just doing this because when we remove the head, I want to remove that lock and keep the head from falling. Next, we're going to remove the machine screw. This is what retains that spindle pulley assembly inside the head casting. If you haven't seen my video on internal operations, and there's an excellent video that explains what these machine screws do, and I'll put a link for it here. Alright, and so once we get this out of here, it's pretty fine thread, so it's a lot of unscrewing there. We should be able to pull out the spindle pulley assembly. Not always. Sometimes they're really tight in there, but this one's in there pretty loosely. Also, these bearings are completely shot. They won't even turn. So we'll be replacing those for sure. Next, we're going to remove the head lock. So it's got the lock handle screw, and we'll use that same lock handle to remove the locking nut side of the sleeve. There we go. Then we'll just tap out the sleeve itself on the other side. So now we can remove the head, and we're just going to pull it straight up off the column. And it comes off of here pretty easily. May not always be the case. So next we'll remove the table, and same thing, just loosen it and lift it up. And then we'll remove the column. So there's a large set screw in the base that locks the column to the base. We'll just remove that. And then lift the column out of the base. And then we've got a lock shoe inside the base that we just pop out. So here we are with the base, and we're going to remove the model number panel that is on the base. It's held in with 2 drive screws. So we're just going to use a small punch. I think this is a 16th inch punch to knock out those drive screws. And then that model number panel is just real dirty. That's why it's still on there. There we go. Here we are with the table, and we're just going to remove the table lock and disassemble it. So it's got the nut, the sleeve, and the handle. Here we are with the head casting. So there are 2 screws that hold the guard plate on the head casting. Sometimes there are lock washers under these screw heads, which there should be, but there were not on this one. I should note that I've got links to the owner's manuals for the drill press and the motors, as well as some other links in the description of the video. So here we are with the hub pinion assembly. We're just going to remove the feed handles, feed handle rods, and then the feed handle knobs from those rods. We're going to be replacing those rods because those things are completely chewed up. Not even sure how they got that bad. But I already have a used set that we'll be using. And we'll get all those knobs off and set them aside. So next we're going to be removing the pin that is holding the spring and hub and pinion all together. This is a 1/4 inch pin, and one end of it, 1/4 of the end of it, is splined. So you want to kind of look at it, and what you want to do is drive the splines out rather than through, like that. And then the spring should come right out, and then the pinion should come out of the hub. Pretty easy. Yeah, the chrome is completely shot on that hub. Next, we're going to disassemble the spindle pulley assembly, and there is a retaining ring that holds the bearings in place. And this one kind of gives me a little bit of trouble. There it goes. And then you should be able to, sometimes you can pull the bearings off of it. Not so much the case here, so we're going to use a puller. This is just a 2-prong puller, and I've got a little piece of steel to kind of protect the splined shaft there. And then that bearing comes off. Then there's a sleeve between the two bearings. It's a spacer. And then that bottom bearing, sometimes you can pull it, but it's not moving. So we're just going to use 2 wrenches to kind of push up on it. You got to be careful not to bend your pulley sheaves. Once we got it up enough, we can use another piece of metal to protect the spline shaft, and then put that puller back under the bearing and pull this bearing off. And this is how I disassemble spindle pulley assemblies on everything. Gen 1s, which is the 150, the 100 series, and these Gen 2s. After the Gen 2, the spindle pulley assembly is completely different for Gen 3 and Gen 4 drill presses. And there we go. Next, we're going to remove the chuck from the Quill spindle assembly. So I'm just locking in a Allen wrench. This is a 9mm Allen wrench into the jaws, just aligning the flats of the jaws with the flats of the Allen wrench. And then we're going to clamp that Allen wrench inside that vise. And there we go. Then we're going to use a spanner wrench to loosen the safety lock collar. So I like to tighten it down just a hair before we loosen it, get it moving. And once we've got it completely loose, that taper on the end of the spindle should come out of the socket that is inside the chuck, like so. We can go ahead and remove the feed stop bracket. There should be a washer in there, but there wasn't. Now we're going to remove the Quill retaining ring. And that is that locking ring right there. We're just going to use 2 vise grips to clamp on it. It's got a split in it, and you just want to clamp on each side of the split about a 1/2 inch away, and then you can push out on those vice grips and lift up on it, like so. Then we'll rotate the spindle quill assembly. And there is a retaining ring that locks the bearing in place. So we're going to remove that retaining ring. Once we can get it. There we go. And now we can drive the spindle through the bearings. So we're just going to use a rubber mallet. This is a dead blow mallet, and drive it straight through that bearing. And then as we get near the bearing itself, we're going to use a brass punch to push it the rest of the way through. And rather than my previous videos of trying to catch the spindle with my leg, I now am using a 5-gallon bucket that's sitting under this. It's got a towel in it to cushion the fall of the spindle. We're just going to drive the spindle through it and let it fall. And there we go. Now there's a bearing still on the spindle. We'll get that off in a minute. We still have a bearing inside the quill, and we're just going to use a wooden dowel to knock that one out. You can see it popping out down there on the bottom. There it goes. And then for this bearing, there is again another retaining ring. We just need to remove that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I should have clamped the spindle a little bit better inside my vise to keep it from rotating like this. But we'll get it here in a second. There we go. Now we're just going to drive the spindle through this bearing. And you can see that the vice jaws are just a little bit wider than the spindle so that the spindle can flow freely through it. And we'll do the exact same thing with the brass punch. And once we get that spindle out of the bearing, that will end this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. In the next video, we will continue with the disassembly. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.